Hello everybody, this is Starman and welcome back to Let's Play Betrayal at Krondor. Well, last time my intent was to try and get to Hawk's Hollow, but we got a little sidetracked by needing to go from Tirsog back to Yavin to sell gear at the weapon shop that will actually buy everything, and then make our way here back to L'Oreal after indulging in a bit of grave robbing and inventory management and listening to the fine music of the game, which I have turned off, and we also explored our first temple. So our goal for this time is to finally reach Hawk's Hollow. Now we got quite a few fights to go through, and sure enough, there's some more Hell Warriors. Locklear charged forward. Caught off guard, their opponents scrambled around helplessly, but were finally squaring off in a defensive position. So, hey, we successfully ambushed them. And hopefully I'm close enough I can actually hit one of these guys. Shot right between them. Yeah, we need to take out the guy who's chasing our magician around. And Locklear is not doing well, so we better... oh, heck, I gave all of his healing potions to Owyn. So I just came into this for nothing. Well, nothing else for it. Locklear didn't look up. Over 2 days by the clamor of battle to respond or two folks to take attention away from it, Locklear seemed oblivious to Owyn's repeated attempts to relay the restoratives. If Owyn had any hope at all of transferring the object, it lay in getting closer to his ally. Well, for all the good that just did us. Well, thankfully, Owyn's combat skills seem to have improved. A gasp escaped Locklear's lips as he levered himself into an upright position and looked over his wounds. I think all am in the plan, Locklear said. My wounds are mortal. You go on without me. No one gets left behind, Owyn shot back angrily. No one. Get your things and we'll move. We'll find a healer for you along the way who can help. And Goraf's abilities somehow increased in all of that. Now, spoiled rations. More spoiled rations. Yeah, annoying thing is that when you get them dead in a line like that, you have to move in order to see all of them. Okay, it's a spoiled ration guy, and a little bit of gold for the trouble. Now what this bag does is that it speeds the healing. And yeah, you can see why why exactly we needed a lot of rations, because while you can sleep to recover your health, it's a bit touch and go with a character who hits the near-death condition. So we just burned through all of our rations, but that still cost us, saved us a bit more than seeing a healer would, or going to a temple at least. So we're going to buy more rations, but thankfully got some nice new gear to trade in for doing that. And oh, what the heck, we'll have a bit of money soon enough, so I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get that trading book. So with that done, and can't quite afford another set of rations. Alright, so last time you might remember I said that we can, if we're careful, train up certain party members' abilities in certain ways. Well, okay, I now have haggling set as my focus skill, so I'm going to go ahead and read the book. Meant as a handbook with relative values of trade items, the work also put forth a number of theories about the nature of trading and offered suggestions on how to deal with difficult merchants who wish not to haggle. After having paged once through the work, he went back and made note of some of the maximum values he could expect to make of certain goods in their prime condition. And we'll pass the book on to each member of the party and have them read it. And you can attempt to have everybody try and read through the book once and see if they gain a bit more value from it. The party's haggling ability has increased. So now, Locklear has a 52% in haggling, which is better than all of his fighting skills except for melee. Owyn's haggling has gone up very much. And Garv has gone all the way from 9% to 24%. Not bad. But as long as we're here, we might as well try and sell the book back. So yeah, 36 sovereigns and 8 royals. Not quite the 114 that we paid for it, but that's enough to get us a few more rations for the road. Actually, still not enough for us to bargain on this, but one makes do. And let's see, how's our armor Hammer doing? Well, not so bad. We can't stand to get another one. Okay, so now that we are almost well and truly skint broke at this point, and we'll do a check to see if there's anything hidden in the valleys around here. Well, campground, but no treasure chest. Unless we stepped over it, which we did not. Whoop. But we do have a road here. And this actually leads to the house of the pale man with the disease, so we will skip that one. I know I'm metagaming a little bit on this point, but trust me, we don't want to deal with the plague thing. And we hit an ambush. Thankfully, it's just one guy, so we can easily handle this. And hey, elvish armor. And more arrows, but no crossbow. Which technically it should be bolts rather than arrows if you're using a crossbow, but that's neither here nor there. And make sure there's nothing on the main road here. And, well, as long as we're here. Okay, nothing close by. I almost forgot that we had Eyes of Ishap now. The first time I played through this, I did not get Eyes of Ishap this early in the game, so I got used to scouting ahead manually, which it's also a good idea to do. Aha! The enemy was waiting for them. Okay, how is Owyn the only one who hit anything that time? Well, might as well stand and fight, because that guy can move well enough to attack me. Oh-ho, that guy's trying to make a run for it. Oh, he's going to run for it too. But he's limping, and took him out with a 2-point hit. My kingdom for a crossbow right now. Well, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. And hey, Locklear's melee accuracy has gone up, and a good thing too. Huh, could have sworn I clicked on the left one first. And yes, that's the sound effect when you stand against a mountain and cannot move. just to make sure, since we're going to have to rest soon anyway. Nothing hidden around here. And another ambush. Thankfully, it's a lone ambusher, so we're not in such bad shape we can't take this guy out fairly easily. And I take that back, Owyn's in pretty bad shape. Well, like maybe I was hasty in stocking up on rations. Path winds around a bit here, and Locklear smiled. Although the approaching man seemed half a hand shorter for the passage of 11 years, his halting stride was still as personal to him as his signature. Ages past, Isaac had suffered his limp proudly, worn it like an injury sustained on the field of battle, and for that it had gained him the respect and admiration of Krondor's young squires, Locklear among them. His tragic expulsion from Marufus' court had been a blow to them all. "The years have worn you well, old squire, despite the fact that it seems to have darkened your hair a bit. What did you do, stick your head in a barrel full of pitch?" Yeah, funny joke there, which a lot of people are going to be commenting on in the game. In Feist's original novel, Locklear is noted for having golden curly hair and being a bit of a ladies' man because the ladies do like the golden curls. But as we'll note here, the actor playing Locklear has dark hair in a page boy cut, and his hair is quite straight. Probably because when they were busy shooting the actors for the roles, they weren't thinking about the appearances for the most part, which is weird because the actor they get to play, Squire James, who we will see later, looks pretty much dead on how he should look based on his description. Anyway, back to the dialogue. "Scoundrel, I would have thought you strung up for impersonating a duke by now. How are you, Isaac? It's been since Arufa's wedding, hasn't it?" "The very day. You should have heard the fit master of ceremonies de Lancey through when he found out I wasn't the Count of Dorgan's son. I dare say he would have tossed me over the palace walls himself if he hadn't been busy with the details of the blessed event. I've kept busy since then, during the last few years, on the road, doing odd jobs along the border. You'd be surprised all the things I've learned and seen since I've left Krondor." "Surprise me, then. You always were a rumor monger." "Well, what would you like to know about?" "Well, we can ask about traps and safe passage." "For whatever reason, somebody has gone through a great deal of trouble to make certain we stay clear of the eastern side of the Orsanines. We found traps on the road leading east. You assume the traps were laid for you. Perhaps they're laid there to prevent somebody from the east from slipping west. I can't think of any real advantage in keeping somebody of Hawks Hollow or L'Oreal, but I can see a definite advantage of keeping somebody out of Lamut. I think you'd be better advised to move south and west away from whoever is laying them out." And we can ask about Hawks Hollow. "Seems like I've heard of Hawks Hollow before. If you've heard anything about it lately, imagine it was a warning not to spend the night there. It was a nice little village until a prowler moved in that they've named Smokefingers. Isn't a lock in the town he hasn't found a way to get past." Okay, so there's a thief in town. "I've just returned from a military assignment, and it's imperative that I get south as soon as and as inconspicuously as possible. Are there any places you think we should avoid?" "At all costs you want to avoid the road from Egley to Tanya's. There's a festival to be held in Egley, and it's likely your elven companion will be spotted right away." "What makes you think we're off to Krondor?" "Elves don't come much out of Elvandar, and they are even less likely to travel in the company of a boy and a seigneur when they do take to voyaging. Whatever you three are about, I assume it must involve the good of the kingdom. Krondor would be the only logical place for you to go." Yeah, if it seems like Isaac knows more than he's saying, well, mind reader. "These roads seem littered with those anxious to anticipate our movements. Do you know of anyone in this area that seems to have unusual skills? Someone who seems like they know your thoughts?" "No, for a fact I can't say that I have, but a certain poker player that I lost a great deal of money to in Egley comes to mind. Name of Devon, I believe. Took me quite a while to make up the funds I lost in nearly a single night playing against him. He very nearly took every sovereign I'd made in a month's time." "As far as I'd like to stand about gossiping, I suppose we three need to hie back to the road before Prince Rufus sends out a search party for us." "The prince is expecting you, then. Please send His Highness my regards." "I shall. Take care of yourself, Isaac." So, yes, Isaac is bit of a rogue that Locklear knew back in the day, and hey, I am so overburdened I can't handle a shell. And what the heck, we'll camp for an extra day so Owyn can heal up a little bit more. And we are here at the crossroads, and over here on the left is Hawks Hollow. But before we go into town, I'm going to do a quick little respec of the party again. Because call it a hunch, I think we're going to need to train up our lockpicking fairly soon. Because remember that thief that said is harassing the town? Well, we got a inn here. Except for a thin strip of floor that lay between the door and the counter and the stairs, a great cloud of dust coated the inn's fixtures. The patrons of the inn seemed similarly stagnant as they glanced up lazily from their mugs of ale and brandy. Well, let's try barding. Fortune smiled. Despite the fact that he was stumbling through the chords of This Kingdom Mine, Owyn's lack of musical mastery was masked by the ruckus noise of the town's drunken patrons thumping their mugs to the rhythm of the music. "That was interesting," the tavern keeper said. "I don't think I've ever heard that song tortured so much in one evening. You're giving the patrons a drunk night. Against my better judgment, they're demanding I pay you. Here." Withdrawing 17 sovereign pieces from a pouch, the tavern keeper passed them to Owyn. And we can talk to the people here. The man accepted their company. Owyn chatted idly with the rough-looking fellows. Locklear looked on, making certain that in his ebullient mood, the magician didn't slip and give away the true purpose of their travels. Yeah, the guy who just spilled what they were doing to a guy who he knew was impersonating noblemen. "So where are you heading?" the man asked, describing a large arc of his ale cup. "Any place interesting?" "Actually, we're not heading in any specific direction," Locklear intervened. "We're wandering, looking for an employer, a treasure to watch, caravan to guard." The man snickered. "Or a caravan to steal from, eh? Freebooters, then. Well, there's not much going on in the kingdom these days, not in the west. The prince has seen to it that his roads are safe and his vassals happy. For the likes of us, he's taken all the fun out of his life." Locklear nodded. "You're not the first to say so." Mythology gag for the win. Locklear tapped the woman's shoulder. Slowly, she turned to look at him, but rather than greeting him with a smile, her gaze was a look they thought reserved only for things that crawled on the ground or lapped up table leavings in the courtyard. "What do ye want?" "I was hoping perhaps we could talk," Locklear ventured. "Pass the time in a little conversation." "Why?" she asked curtly. Opening his mouth to reply, but suddenly finding himself bereft of adequate speech, he made a small sound which he was certain sounded quite unmanly. Stabbing him with her exquisitely beautiful stare, she smiled. "I thought as much. Goodbye, sir. I'm certain you have a brilliant oratory career before you." And we can buy some food from the barmaid, or talk to the innkeeper about healing up. "7 sovereigns for the night," he grumbled, "though if you lost my beds, I'll charge you double. We turn you out at sunrise. Oh, and there's a chamber pot in the corner if you need it. Shall I sign you in for the night?" Yeah, well, you can actually restore yourself to full health sleeping in an inn, but you do run the risk of having your gold stolen. So I think we'll go with no, since it is the middle of the day. So we have that in here. A man invited them inside. "Come in, my name's Lucan," he introduced himself as he slapped his guests on their backs. "Nice to meet you. I haven't had visitors in quite a while. You know, it gets kind of lonely up here, and the kids don't come down too often. You have kids, they're a marvel, don't you think?" And Locklear seized Lucian's wrist and gave it a savage twist, forcing his shiny sovereign to fall from the man's pained fingers. Harry watched in shocked silence as the gold clattered to the floor. "I almost didn't feel you nabbing from my purse," Locklear said. "You're not bad, thief, but not good enough." "Don't kill me," Lucian pleaded. "Please, I don't have anything to give you, but I'll do anything. I'll teach you." "You'll what?" Goraf sputtered. "I'll teach you. Yes, that's it," Lucian said, his face brightening. "Spare my life and I'll teach you what I know about locks. Everything. What do you say?" "Yes." Locklear arched an eyebrow. "Very well, Lucian," he said. "You may teach us, but if we leave here with less than what we came with—" No, you have my word. I'll sit here. I'll be right back. I'll go fetch my practice locks and—" "Nice try, but no. You're staying here." Locklear pushed Lucian to a sitting position. "Just tell Goraf where your practice locks are and he'll fetch them, and then we'll start our lessons." Having resigned himself to the fact that he wasn't going to escape, Lucian lectured and demonstrated for the better part of the day before he set the practice locks aside. That's it, he mumbled, wiping the perspiration from his brow. That's all I know. Good enough, Locklear said. I think we'll be on our way. And Lucian, for your continued health, I would suggest that you get out of the thieving business. So yes, our lock-picking ability has increased. So now, Locklear is at 32. Owyn is at 12. And Garv is at 22. Not good enough to be dangerous, but it is an improvement. Keep your bloody sovereigns. I've decided I'm not leaving. Why should we want you to leave? I refuse, you hear me? I refuse. Now go away. Well, that's a bit odd, but... The door opened a fraction of an inch. Your hands, a voice commanded. Pardon, what did you say? Show me your hands, the voice repeated from his darkness. Palms up, thumb out, and don't make any sudden moves. Faintly amused, Locklear complied and did as asked, extending both his hands for the stranger's examination. On command, he turned his hands over, again waiting for the judgment of the voice in the house. Ye pass, the voice said, in the house pronounced at last, but his voice did not sound relieved. All right, then, listen carefully and don't ask any questions. What was all that hand business about? I said no questions, the voice snapped. Suffice it to say, I know you can be trusted because I have to say because you don't bear the sign. You should be on the lookout for scrolls or anyone bearing scrolls. Read them carefully. They could save your life. Be safe. Scrolls? Locklear asked. Why? What's on these scrolls? Does it have anything to do... Abruptly, the door slammed shut. And, yes, this is a hint about scrolls. And, yeah, it says that this is a barn, actually, but they say it's a former tavern, which shockingly does have some good rations in it. And then the shop here in town is the Woolen Man. The lay of the goods store was comfortably familiar. Same description as before. This one, oddly enough, they will not buy weapons or armor, but they do have a lot of amulets, so this is very much like the shop in Tyr Song. Unfortunately, we can't afford any of the better amulets or the gems. But Amulet of the Upright Men. Owyn looked at the medallion skeptically. In Krondor, similar amulets were sold as fool's trinkets, ornaments that were in all respects like true gold, or seemed in all respects like true gold, but were clever fakes run by unscrupulous magicians. Checking the reverse side, he noted an inscription to Beneth, the god of luck and thieves. Now, actually, Beneth is not the god of luck. That would be Rufia, and Rufia is a goddess. But Amulet of the Upright Man. The Upright Man is the leader of the Thieves Guild in Krondor, who is, which is called the Mockers. And the amulet here actually can improve some of your thief skills. And we got some other keys here. We got a virtue key. This is a virtue key, or I'm a Gwali's uncle, Locklear said with a grin, tapping the dorsal shaped head. Originally, these keys were only made for chastity belts, but in the last 100 years or so, they've expanded the use of the design. The locks this will open protect very valuable items. Hence 270 gold for a simple key. And then we got Ring of the Golden Way. The ring was a simple, unadorned band of gold which fit awkwardly on his finger. Worth only a small crafter's fee and the gold used in its forging, the ring was still charming in its own humble way. What mystified him was the particular way it warmed when someone moved near him. Yes, this actually improves your scouting ability and your ability to sense an ambush coming. Unfortunately, we don't have anything to do here except for sell off that one shell we got from earlier. But there we go. Well, I believe we have done well enough for this chapter. And next time, having reached Hawk's Hollow, we are going to cut westward and make our way to Lamut, the difficult way. Right around there. And come full circle back to where we started eventually. So next time, we will do that. Take care until then.